let's consider this a trailer for the conversation we're going to have tomorrow, Mikey. So you put us up to reading this book, Paths to Paradise, Liberation from Work. Nance and I just got finished with reading the first 19 theses, so we've got a few more to go tomorrow, and we'll definitely read
You did the first 19 theses just now.
Yeah, we did just now.
God damn. Okay. Do you agree that go ahead? I'll let you finish.
Well, I think it was great. Nance, I want you to say what you thought about it.
Yeah, Nance, what do you think?
I like it a lot. I think personally, there's a lot of validation in it about a lot of shit that I've kind of thought that I don't see represented elsewhere. And I like that a lot. The technology and the PMC shit is fucking spot on.
Dude,
I love it. I know.
He's got a really great sort of critical media theory analysis that he brings up every time he's using the name of that guy, Jacques Attali.
Attali, yeah. And sadly, as far as I can tell, the work that he keeps citing hasn't been translated. There's another work by Attali we could order if we wanted to, but I don't think that main work he's citing is translated.
Yeah,
this is what I hate. I hate when I run into this. Like, there's a guy who D&G were real inspired by, and he's the guy who wrote about the paranoid machine. And so in chapter 1 of Anti-Oedipus, they're going on and on about this paranoid machine, and they don't bother to explain it because they're presupposing this other guy's work. And at least the last time I checked, this fucking work hadn't been translated. So it's like a gap in my understanding of that chapter. Maybe somebody translated it now because D&G are so popular, but Attali, I'm going to bet, hasn't been translated anywhere.
Yeah. Attali is the thinker of auto surveillance. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, I guess so. And I mean, it's crazy. I mean, first off, what Gorz says about where we're headed, so much of it is prophetic. It's Baudrillardry in the sense of not aligning to Baudrillard's thought, but like how prophetic Baudrillard was. This dude is like that too. I mean,
bro,
this whole idea we're headed to auto surveillance, and
so you can see this, right?
Prophet of Doom and Destruction.
Yeah, so we named it that. Okay, this is a document. It's got the different sections of our Andrew Gorz Paths to Paradise receipts. So we've been combining a bunch of quotes and summaries, and we've got the sections: PMC, its capital, work camps, Prophet of Doom and Destruction, like and subscribe, CMT, and Timenergy. So this is what we've got so far. It's basically our favorite quotes on these various threads. And so anyway, you just said that it's prophetic. We have a section here called Prophet. I said make one called Prophet much or something like that. I didn't know what to call it. Nance gave it this fantastic title. But basically, yeah,
I love it.
These bullet points are all bullet points for what we consider to be prophetic quotes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 prophetic quotes at least that we read or that we felt like adding. Mm-hmm. I wanted to read this though. I wanted to say, right here, central programming and auto surveillance will use radial communications networks, giving everyone individual access to a central memory, and will rule out both transversal communication and thus free individual exchange of experience and information, and collective access to memory stores and collectively run decision-making processes.
Yeah, what does that sound like?
Yeah, it sounds like what we have. And then
that's a this. I forgot the T.
Oh, thank you. This is the role assigned to information.
And remember, this book came out in, I think, 83.
Yeah,
83. That's right. This is the role assigned to information technology. It expected to reduce the costs of producing the appropriate consumers. It should furthermore make it possible to industrialize one-to-one services, namely those of physicians, psychologists, educators, etc., to transfer the production of consumers to the consumers themselves with the help of computer programs which will be sold to them with a sizable profit, auto-surveillance society is Jacques Attal's description of this auto-production of consumers to the standard required by industry. All of this stuff on this is dope.
It's mind-blowing.
We can't wait to read this guy, man. This Jacques Attali was probably writing about this shit
All right,
in the
now
70s.
both of you, because I know how you feel, but are you not pissed that somebody didn't tell us about this dude years ago?
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck? All I do is swim in Marxist theory and have for 10 years. I don't know how this happened, because I know that all the other Adorno and Gramsci and Lukács and Marcuse and Baudrillard at the beginning. Like, I know my way around Marxist theory. I don't know how this guy, who is the Marxist that I have the most in common with, or I am of this spirit, and so is Dave. I know, like, it's just remarkable. I feel like this is one of these moments where I discovered a philosopher that's going to be one of my favorite thinkers, and yet it's not like he's blowing my mind by showing me something new. It's that he's so me that I don't know what to do with it, where it's like, God damn. But it makes me feel good to know, like, Dave and I aren't alone in this. There's a bigger tradition of anti-work. And I know De Boer has stuff on anti-work, you know, and there's Paul is it Lafarge? There is a history of this, but this guy above and beyond is the best at it that I've found. And no, I want to read. There's 4 or 5 other books by him that I want to read.
No, I actually, this is a bunch of theses. And I talked about at the beginning of our exegetical session. I said these theses are like, you know, the 95 theses that Martin Luther puts on the door.
Yeah.
Except that he says at the very beginning that these theses are to transform the left. And so it's...
And he's critiquing socialism the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that there's a lot of room for Marxist, MMT, and libertarian people to all see something of value here. And so we were talking about the way this actually like lays forward a path where it's like, hey, look, the 3 personalities for dudes on the internet all have a way into time energy theory through this guy.
I like that,
dude. It's good because he's not against.
All right, wait. Who are the three? Who are the 3? You have your Marxist bros, your libertarian bros. Who's the other?
Oh, MMT.
Oh, MMT. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So because we were focusing on MMT versus Marxism for various parts, where it seems like he's speaking to one audience, he's speaking to the other audience. Obviously, MMT wasn't quite around yet, but he was dialoguing with people who end up going in that direction, and he's saying some things that are similar, like, oh yeah, we should have a federal workforce, or we should have jobs guarantee, and we should have basic income, and we should have a minimum of the amount of hours that we work. And so it's like, oh yeah. But then on the other side, he's also like he's got that Marxist sense. But the other thing is that most Marxists don't have the capacity for self-criticism on the level that he does it with actually existing socialism, which they tend to think is, oh, now you're counter-revolutionary, you're doing the bourgeois side thing, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, whatever, dudes. He's not speaking to the super dogmatic worldview Marxists, but he's speaking to people like us who are like fundamentally impacted.
I think it's more Marxist than your typical Marxist, is what I like about it.
I agree. Thank you.
This is more Karl Marx. This is more of what Marx was about than, you know, the state and you know the Vanguard Party and all that shit. He didn't give a fuck how we got to people having material wealth and no work. That's the end goal. Right.
And anything that he proposed emphatically, like as this is what we need to do, was he surveyed the field, looked at all the options on the table, and said that ain't it, and then he would do what he thought it should be, based on what he knew of the situation, a situation which has fundamentally changed, not just since him but also since Lenin. So, yeah, no, I really like this. I think it is. It's not a compromise or a synthesis. It's its own position that refuses to compromise with these other positions, but nonetheless interrogates them, tarries with them, works through their contradictions. And now, but what I was going to say about these being like the 95 Theses, it's also not one of his more standard academic works. And so his book on reclaiming work, I listened to a little bit of it. I can't tell you what I heard except that I liked it. Like, I was just kind of listening. I wasn't really paying attention. I wasn't note-taking. I wasn't doing exegeticals or anything.
Yeah.
It was just a first pass.
Look, well, even this, like,
it
this is
seems
meant
like you're
as
gonna,
a kind
you're
of...
going to really like it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I already know. Like, I know I'm going to like Critique of Economic Reason. I'm going to like... There's a couple other ones I found that I didn't know about. Hold on. That I came across today that I'm going to want to check out. He's got one called Strategy for Labor, a Radical Proposal. There's one called Socialism and Revolution. There's Farewell to the Working Class. Like, all of these I'm going to want to absorb. I'll just say that, look, I told you yesterday, my only issue is when it comes to the type of standard Marxist economist verbiage, it becomes a blur. I have trouble following it. And so the stuff he was doing in Theses, I believe it's 5 through 7, the stuff on rate of profit, tendency of rate of profit to fall, and when he goes into all the economic dynamics of the crisis, which for him was this the early recession of the 1980s,
right?
Or the recession of the early 1980s.
Okay.
I would have to focus on that to understand exactly what's going on, because, like I've told you, it blurs together for me. But other than that, it's incredibly readable.
If you watch this conversation that Nance and I just did, that is like, 4 hours long, then you will definitely see that I struggle through those sections as well and need to stop and clarify what's going on multiple times. And I don't ever unpack it as much as I could, because then there's definitely parts I'm still blurry on. But there's a part that I need to clip and post on its own, which is basically how I feel about economics in general. And I don't care. At the end of the day, like, I want to understand it because I want to be able to have conversations with economists, but it's the job of economists to make my time energy happen. That's what their job is. They need to theorize it. It's not my job to do that. That's their job. It's my job to be this kind of broader theorist. And yeah, I need to be able to...
Yeah, but see, what happens when the economist says, well, your time energy is impossible? Well, what do we do? Off with their heads?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm good. We're on the same thing.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean...
No, it's called... that's the whole thing. When you requilt it, to me, like, freedom is time energy, okay, then you have to make them say it. So what you're saying, you're going to explicitly say is, I have to be a slave.
Yep.
That's what you're saying. Okay, if I have to be a slave, okay, but you're going to fucking say it. You're going to say what I am.
Yeah, that's what I want. Instead of telling me that that's my freedom. And it's like, I think that that this kind of shows me a way to have that conversation, right? And time energy theory has always been a way to have that conversation. And so what I look forward to is our conversation tomorrow on this. I just wanted to say also, I apparently discovered Andre Gorz before you did. I just had no memory that I did. And the reason is because I went searching through my computer files looking for a specific book, and what I ended up finding was, I'm going to share it here in the chat.
Well, I discovered him before you because I bought a copy of Critique of Economic Reason 10 years ago.
All right, good job. Okay, fine. But here's the thing. I took all the trouble of recording 5 different parts, MP3 files, of Critique of Economic Reason. And the reason I did it in 5 separate parts was, at the time I had this theory that I could just set up my alarms throughout the week so that a new section of the book started me off in the morning every day. And I still aim to do that, but it's a kind of...
But all of those would be laying there dormant if it wasn't for me, so I get all the credit.
No, yeah. No, you brought him back to me, and I have no recollection of recording this.
No, look, I
really don't have any recollection of recording it. I just knew that his name sounded familiar, and it's because I read a bunch of these other sort of post-Marxist people. Like, I wouldn't be surprised though if like Moïse Pastone was in dialogue with him. I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Maddock was in dialogue with him. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if Michael Heinrich was in dialogue with him. What?
I looked in Inventing the Future, and his name isn't in the actual text, but they in footnotes, his work, this work in particular, is mentioned like 7 times.
Oh my God!
Or referenced 7 times. So it's Cernicek and Williams have them in there, just in footnotes. So
Okay.
look, we're bickering because the point is, we both love this guy, and this guy is of the spirit of theory that we are of.
Yeah.
And so, but the point is, it's really kind of our discovery. That's why I've told you we have to do a lecture on him or discussion of him ASAP, because I went looking through YouTube and there's not a single English video about this guy, which I can't fucking process. There's clips of him being interviewed in French, and there's some videos on him in French. But as far as I could tell, nobody's done a video on him in English. And
well, we're going to do it tomorrow. And so this is the trailer for everybody. So make sure to check it out once we actually, we're not even going to stream it live because I don't have the capabilities to stream live where I'm currently at. And that's us. But people are able to join the Zoom call for the live lecture. Just message me on Theory Underground, or Mikey can get you the link if you're talking to Mikey. Nance can get you the link if you're talking to Nance. Yeah, come to the Zoom call tomorrow. It's what times? It's 4 p.m. Eastern, is that right?
yep, 3 p.m. my time, Central.
Yeah, which is 1 p.m. my time. And beforehand, there will be actually some other events. And so anybody who has registered with Theory Underground or is on the email list should know about the other events that are happening. Same Zoom call earlier before you and I do the thing. So, Mikey, thank you for joining us for this little trailer. And we're looking forward
fun.
to, yeah, man, hell yeah. All right, have fun.
I still can't believe you guys did 19 theses in 4 hours. That's really fantastic. Yeah, I'll have to check that out when I can.
He doesn't even know, dude.
Yeah, dude. Wait till you see the other videos that come out soon.
Oh, I know you guys are. You guys are putting in the work. I know.
Cool. All right. Talk to you later.
All right, bye.